With your Saturday morning FCS plays. Now, one of my favorite segments on ESPN during the entire week is Bad Beats. And Chris had a couple of bad beats last week he wants to share with you this week. First of all, last week he went 1-3 on the plays, but one of them was East Tennessee State. And East Tennessee State was minus 3.5. And they were against, who the heck they played? Chattanooga last week. So they're minus 3.5. Look at this. It's in the fourth quarter. East Tennessee State leads 38-21 with 10:17 left. So we got this one. It's a win. 22-yard TD pass. Then with 2 minutes left, they get a touchdown, and then they add a touchdown right here with 11 seconds left in the game to make the final score 42-35. East Tennessee State led that one 38-21 the fourth quarter, but lost outright. And then the other one Chris wanted to point out was the Lindenwood against Tennessee Tech. And that looked good at the half. I mean, it's 17-14, and Lindenwood's plus 19.5. So you're in pretty good shape there. It gets to be the end of the game. Lindenwood makes it 38-28 with over halfway through the fourth quarter. Tennessee Tech gets a touchdown with 4:38 left, and then running out the clock, a first down will end the game. They get a 29-yard TD pass with 1:48 left. A first down that would have taken a knee. So a couple of bad beats for Chris last week in the FCS plays, but just thought I'd show those to you, and I know that you guys probably are like me. You like to watch bad beats on ESPN, so I thought I'd share those with you. All right, let's take a look at the first game today, and it is Mercer against VMI. There's the Mercer Bears against the VMI Keydets. VMI enters 1-6. They have lost all 5 games. By the way, Mercer is minus 24.5 in this game. So we got Mercer minus 24.5. VMI enters 1-6. They've lost all 5 of their FCS games that they've played. The only team they beat has been Ferrum. They're not even FCS. 2 weeks ago, we went against VMI, and they were crushed by that Eastern Tennessee State team, 45-10. And outgained in that game, 509-82. They only have 9 starters back. They got off to a slow start. Or Mercer was a playoff team last year. Last year they only lost to Samford by 2. That was actually Samford's first win of the entire season. So Samford came in winless and beat them. Now, Mercer was a playoff team and only had 9 starters back. They got off to a slow start, but they've won their last 5 games. So this got to be a last 4 weeks play, I would think. We'll see when we get to it. They've won their last 5 games with a stifling defense that's number 1 in the SoCon, allowing just 18 points per game. Here's your conference play. There's your conference thing. And here, right here, 18 points per game for the season. 2 weeks ago, they're also number 1 in the SoCon in total D, 328 yards per game, and sacks with 23. Those are all good things to be part of. Mercer's number 4 in the FCS. They're allowing just 81 yards per game on the ground. Mercer is fresh off a bye. Now, 2 weeks ago, they were minus 9.5 and beat Princeton 38-14. And that was an FCS Tour winner for you. The computer has Mercer by 31. The AGG has Mercer by 27. And the last 4 weeks AGG right here, it doesn't take into account the first 2 games. These last 4 weeks plays really get to become super good once you drop off like half the season. And right now they're in good form because here, like VMI, you're dropping off the first 3 games of the year. Just the last 4 games, they're playing to a 51 level. Just the last 4 games, they're playing to an 86 level. That says Mercer by 37. Now, Mercer switched to quarterback Brendan Atkinson in their second game. You can check out individual player stats on the FCS. And you'll see here, Atkinson did not play here. They switched to Atkinson game 2, and they've been getting better and better. Well, Atkinson has a 16-4 ratio, and VMI is number 120 in our pass defense rankings. Let's see something here. Let's go take a look at FCS information, and we do have pass defense rankings, and we come down here to number 120, VMI. Last year, Mercer won 34-0. We could check that. Here it is right here. Against VMI, 34-0, 518 to 111 yard edge. Wow. Mercer also won the previous 2 meetings. Let's go see what they did there. Mercer against VMI, they won 38-3. Mercer against VMI, they won 55-14. And they're only minus 24.5 here. Strange line, huh? Chris expects Mercer to dominate VMI for a fourth straight year. He's got this one, Mercer 41 and VMI 6. All right, next one up, we got Austin Peay, and they are at home. Put Austin Peay on the right. We got 5 games for you today. They're taking on North Alabama. Austin Peay, by the way, if you go look at our AGG, let's click back here for a minute. We do have the average game grades. I do not believe Austin Peay is in the top 10, but look, they're number 4 in our average game grades. Remember what I did with the NFL a couple weeks ago? We had the Atlanta Falcons. Surprised me. They were at the top of a list. And here they are 3-3 and still at the top of the list. This is an underrated team for the Austin Peay. But let's go take a look at what Chris has here. Austin Peay has been an under-the-radar FCS team. They dominated Middle Tennessee State 34-14 with a 343, 153-yard edge in the opener. But they only lost at Georgia 28-6. They won 3 of their 5 FCS games, but 2 weeks ago had an absurd, misleading final against Eastern Kentucky. The Governors had a 17-2 first down edge, 321 to 68-yard edge at the half, only led 20-17, and only won 34-20, despite being dominating the game. Austin Peay averages 33 points per game, 444 yards per game. That's right here. Austin Peay. Yeah, 33 points per game, 444 yards per game. And they're putting up 79 yards per game more than their opponents allowed. Now, keep in mind, when I talk about AGG, in case it's your first time watching, the AGG has no starting thing. If Ohio State had these type of results against these opponents, then Ohio State's AGG would be 91.6. No bias to a team at all. It only takes into account your opponent, your stats, not just the score, but the yards rushing, yards passing offense, yards rushing, yards passing defense, and where the game was played. So sometimes, you could beat a team big and actually not have as good, like here, for example, they only beat Middle Tennessee State by 20. They beat Morehead State by 49, yet a much better game grade against Middle Tennessee because Middle Tennessee is a much better team. So that's how the AGG works. But this right here tells you what teams do against their opponent average. So take the opponent's number, subtract out what they did against Austin Peay, and their average against all their other opponents. Austin Peay had 113 yards per game, above what Eastern Kentucky normally allows. So that means Eastern Kentucky in all the other games allows 360 yards per game. On the season, they are plus 79 yards per game. So let's get, see, Austin Peay 39 foes holds 24 below their average. And they're holding foes to 160 or 24 yards per game below their average, number 13 in the FCS. Austin Peay's 3-0 straight up at home. They've won those by 31 points per game. Here's your home, 47-16. They've lost all 4 road games this year, but they're back at home for this one, so that's good. North Alabama with Destin Wade has a 6-0 ratio, QB Destin Wade, but he's only hitting 49% of his passes. And Austin Peay is number 28 in our pass defense rankings. Once again, click here, click pass defense rankings, 28 Austin Peay. There we go. Austin Peay is number 4 in our FCS game grades, as I mentioned. Let's go back to here. I showed you that already. And North Alabama, though, is only number 91. All right, I didn't show you that. So, but you can see right here, this is North Alabama, right? Yeah, North Alabama is 62.3, and Austin Peay is 91.6. Austin Peay is minus 17.5, and the AGG has the Governors winning by 31 in this one, 91.6 to 62. And by the way, if you factor in home field edge, they're actually playing to a 93.2 level at home. So that's a very solid play. We're going to go with Austin Peay, 45, and North Alabama, 17. Real quick note for you, if you're looking for the FCS magazine and you go to the store, you're not going to see it here on the store, but you will see it here under Digital Editions. Just click under Digital Editions. You get 2 full pages on every FCS team. It's laid out the exact same way the FBS magazine is. So just click right there to pick that up. And also, if you want to sign up to Inside the Press Box, just click right here. I got a great special for you. I'll show that to you in a minute. It's $215 for the year for Press Box, $129 for the NFL, $129 for the college. Phil Steele Plus, $99. That's in the store. You just click on the store right up here to get there. And once again, I will give you a very special deal on those in a minute. Let's get to our next game. And our next game is Alabama State versus Alabama A&M. Chris didn't tell me who was at home, so I'm going to guess here. Let's put Alabama State. It's at a neutral site. That's why he didn't tell me. Alabama State at Alabama A&M. A couple of teams I'm sure you follow weekly, right, guys? Alabama State. Oh, that's Alabama State. It's Alabama A&M I'm looking for. Alabama A&M. Alabama A&M. There we go. They're nicknamed the Bulldogs, by the way, against the Hornets. All right, so let's see what Chris says. This rivalry is known as the Magic City Classic and is played at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. Alabama State has an explosive offense led by Andrew Body, who has a 15-to-1 ratio. Gotta love that. And their number one rusher has 423 yards, 7.2. And that is, he's also their number one rusher, I should say. ASU's 2 losses were against UAB by 11. That's not bad. And number 11 Jackson State, 38-34. Alabama State, by the way, in that game had a 514 to 444 yard edge against the number 11 team in the country. ASU also has a 52-35 win over Bethune-Cookman, while Alabama A&M lost to Bethune-Cookman by 7. A&M lost at home to Jackson State, 57-24, and were outgained 702 to 406. This is our streaker game of the week, as Alabama State is 5-0 ATS. All right, let's go see that. Once again, we have all this information for you. If you go to the Phil Steele Plus menu, we've got all this FBS information, as you know. And in the FCS, we have all this. You can just go click here. We're looking for FCS ATS logs. So we'll click here for logs, and we'll go see Alabama State. And the win doesn't mean straight up. You can see that by the score. The win refers to the line. So they are 5-0 ATS this year. You got to like a team that's 5-0 ATS. The computer has Alabama State by 16. And if you go by the last 3 weeks AGG, let's do that. If you take these three and add them together, 81, 70, 85, they're playing to a 62, 48, 68. So the last 3 weeks AGG has Alabama State by 19. This AGG is remarkable when you can see how teams are playing in current form. The only reason that he didn't use last 4 weeks is they played Miles, a team that's a Division III team, and you usually get a really low grade on a Division III team because the opponent factors in, and they would have played one as well over here. But that's a great stat. So Chris has this one: Alabama State 45, Alabama A&M 28, and Alabama State's only minus 10.5. All right, I told you real quick I'll give you that special. And by the way, I showed it to you on the main tour, but I thought I'd show it to you again. If you'd like to have access to all this FCS information, become a Phil Steele Plus member. It's $99, but don't pay the $99. Just do this. You can get my Inside the Press Box newsletter for the final 7 issues. The computer's got 7 issues left. It's red hot. The computer did it again last week, 3-1, 9-3 this October, 44-21 once this time of the year comes in. But you get 54% off if you type in Computer 7. So just go to College Inside the Press Box, type in Computer 7, get Press Box for the final 7 issues, get the computer power ratings, and get access to Phil Steele Plus, a $99 value free. So basically, if you just want Phil Steele Plus, it's $59.34, but you can get access to it. And by the way, the NFL Best Bets did it again last week, 2-1. They're 2-1 every week, it seems. That's not a bad thing, is it? I love that. You can get access to college and NFL for $98. That's less than the $99, but you get Phil Steele Plus included. Just thought I'd throw that out to you. All right, let's get to the next one. East Texas A&M is at home. Let's learn about East Texas A&M. You become an instant expert on these teams with Phil Steele Plus. You don't have to know a doggone thing about them, and now you know the entire story for East Texas A&M, especially if you get the magazine with just $25. Let's go put SF Austin here on the left. So SF Austin is the Lumberjacks, and what's his team called? East Texas A&M is the Lions. Now, East Texas A&M's 2-5, but none of their FCS losses are by more than 10 points. And they just pulled a shocking upset, beating Incarnate Word 52-45 on the road. The Lions' starting quarterback, Ron Peace, was injured last week, but Eric Rodriguez, so it's probably going to affect the line that Peace is out. but he did not even start the first 3 games. Eric Rodriguez started these games in there, so let's go back here. But Eric Rodriguez was the Game 1 starter and threw 2 touchdown passes last week. Let's see what Rodriguez did. 16 of 21 for 193 yards, 2-0 ratio. I like that. In fact, on the season, he's got a 6.3 ratio. That's solid. He's hitting 62%. That's solid. So we're in good shape. SF Austin has won 5 straight, but East Texas A&M has played a much tougher schedule. Number 8 versus number 55. Once again, let's go back to our menu out here, and we'll click on here. We do have schedule strength in the FCS. Here it is. And you're going to see East Texas A&M has played the number 8 schedule in the country. And we find that their opponent, who are they playing again? They are playing SF Austin, has only played the number 55 schedule. So you got a big schedule strength edge here. And all this stuff you can look up at your fingertips if you get Phil Steele Plus. It's real easy. So anyway, the AGG only has SF Austin by 7, and the last 4 weeks has SF Austin by 6. What's the line on this game, guys? Oh, East Texas A&M is plus 14.5, so we're getting over 2 touchdowns. East Texas A&M beat SF Austin on the road last year. Let's go take a look at that. At SF Austin, here they are. They beat them last year 19-14, and they are 3-0 ATS as double-digit underdogs this year. So once again, we could go back and look at the ATS logs for this year. Let's see how they do as double-digit dogs overall. Double-digit. Okay, that's favorite. Double-digit. 9-6, 4-3, 3-2, 2-1. All right, they're 9-6 as a double-digit dog, and 3-0 this year. That makes them 12-6. How'd you like to have spread logs like this? Spread records on each FCS team. They're right here in Phil Steele Plus. All you have to do is click on last 7 years ATS records. You want to go back and see the 3 times they were a double-digit dog? I'll try to keep this tape short for you. Just go to ATS logs, click on it. You will see it at a glance. And as mentioned, they only have they don't lose big. They did lose to SMU and Florida State, but those are 2 really, really good teams. No FCS lost by more than 10. So we're taking the Lions plus the points here. He is calling for SF Austin to win the game. It's SF Austin 31. East Texas A&M 24. Well, 5 games this week. Let's get to your 5th one. And we're going to put Cal Poly at home. Cal Poly. There's Cal Poly, the Mustangs. And they are taking on Montana State. Let's go look up Montana State, guys. All right, here they are. And Montana State's on the left, the Bobcats. All right, Montana State started 0-2, but their losses were to Oregon and South Dakota State. And South Dakota State, by the way, is playing North Dakota State this week in a big showdown game, I believe. But since then, they've turned it up. They've won their next 5 games, including over a tough Northern Arizona team by 24 on the road. That's impressive. And Northern Arizona is a really good team. The Bobcats are plus 216 yards per game. So take away these first 2. They're plus 216 yards per game their last 5 games. Cal Poly's 3-4, and they did upset Sac State last week, but they are minus 83 yards per game in conference play. These guys are plus 219 yards per game in conference play. Conference YPG 89.8. All right. So anyway, let's take a look here. Conference, big play, 219. Montana State quarterback Justin Lamson. Now, Justin Lamson, you remember him from the magazine. He was a Stanford quarterback, a VHT Stanford quarterback, also at Syracuse. He has a 12-2 ratio this year. And the Bobcats are rushing for 226 yards per game. I like it when you have a team that is ratios like this because they can run the ball like that. That's an efficient offense. They allowed just 83 yards per game on the ground, or 98 yards per game, and 66 in their last 5 games. Montana State only has Northern Colorado on deck, and he looks for the Bobcats to pour it on in his Conference YPG Game of the Week. The Conference YPG Game of the Week is Montana State minus 20.5 over Cal Poly. That's Montana State minus 20.5 over Cal Poly. There you go. There's 5 plays from Chris. Chris has done phenomenal on 3 years. I'm sure you guys have won a ton of money with these FCS plays. I want to see something just real quick, out of curiosity. North Dakota State is playing South Dakota State today. I think I saw some on ESPN. that North Dakota State is a 4-point road favorite. I just want to see if that's what we have on this game. Chris didn't touch on it, but I'm going to, without even Chris, I don't know anything about the teams this year. I do know that the thing about North Dakota State that jumps out at me is if you go over here to the AGG and take a look here, once again, you would think North Dakota State, the defending champ, okay, they have a big power rating. The AGG doesn't care about what your starting power rating is. It just says, here's what they've done this year. So not even taking into account anything about North Dakota State, if Cal Poly put up these numbers, Cal Poly would have a grade of 98.6. So their average game grade, 98.6. This says 99.5. Not updated yet. I tell you what, by the time you get this, Todd will have the AGG grades updated, but they still are number one at 98.6. Let's see what South Dakota State is. South Dakota State is number 6 at 89.1. So if you gave them a 2-point home edge, that's 91. That's 98.6. So that would say North Dakota State by 7.5. Last 4 weeks is 98.1. If you had 2 points for the home edge here, that's 91. That's North Dakota State by 7. And let's see, home away. Their away is 96.5. Their home is 90. That would be North Dakota State by 4. Conference play, 98.1 to 88.1. Add the 2, that's 90. Now, how often does South Dakota State lose at home? Remember, Mark Gronowski was their quarterback last year. He's not this year. Chase Mason is, but he does have an 11-1 ratio. What North Dakota State's got going, they use their usual running back by committee. They're averaging 5.6 yards per carry. They're only averaging 4. They're allowing 3.1. They're allowing 3.6. I would have to say it was 4.5. This is an official play. This is just me looking at the stats. And let's see what do we do as an away favorite? Away favorite 18, 13, and 1. How about home dog for South Dakota State? 1-1. They've only been a home dog twice since 2018, and they're 1-1 in that category. Let's throw it out as a quick hitter on North Dakota State if they're minus 4.5 in this one. Or let me see. Just bear with me a second. I'm going to take a look at the line on this game because that was an ESPN line they showed. I just want to see. I do not have any lines up on my thing right now, so we're going to go with that minus 4 right now, North Dakota State. There you go. There's your FCS update for today. I'll be back with you next week with the FCS, and make sure you check out the main tour. And by the way, if you're a Phil Steele Plus member, we got 13 projected best bets on the schedule predictor. And to get to the schedule predictor, you just go to the Phil Steele Plus menu right here. I'll show you how to get to the schedule predictor real quick. Phil Steele Plus menu. And when you go to the Phil Steele Plus menu, just go to schedule predictor. And then click here and you download the schedule predictor. And then just scroll down to this week's action. You got all your best bets. This is your category right here. This column has your best bets in it. 13 best bets this week. And so make sure you check that out. And thanks for taking the Phil Steele Plus tour with selections.